We rarely compare Indian bureaucracy with bureaucracy in other countries. Bureaucracy in other countries. If we compare, in what way Indian bureaucracy will stand out? I think any comparison, particularly across countries, can bring out or has the capacity to bring out what are unique or essential feature of bureaucracy. Okay, and this is what is done by this book, from what ails the IAS, why it fails to deliver, by N.C. Saxena. Before going to the numbers, let me explain what seems to be the case. It appears Indian bureaucracy government job is a very privileged position. Very privileged position. I think we know intuitively that this is so. Very privileged. And because it is privileged, many would like to come. It is privileged because it is taking much more than what it is giving, because of which many want to get in. Okay. It is much above the market level or market price. So it's a highly privileged position, and because it is much above the market price, it is costly for the government to pay. Because it is costly, they try to employ few. So in summary, privileged, very highly paid, very costly, and because of which fewer are employed, because it is inefficient. And this kind of understanding we will not get if we are looking only in the context of India. This comes out of cross-national comparisons. Okay, now let us go to the details. Civil service staffing per 100 population, going by World Bank 2003. In India, only 1.2. Sri Lanka 4.5, China 2.8, Malaysia 4.8, UK 7.0, US 7.0. So, very few are employed. It is only 1.2%. Of course, this percentage is based on central government level, state government level, PSUs, local government, all what we regard as government employment, be it any level or any kind. Okay. So, very few. Of course, one may think, okay, then there should be more, because everybody is employing many more, particularly in developed countries, very high amount. Okay. And in fact, in recent years, the employment is coming down. Look at this. Total government employment in thousands. Central, state, quasi-central, quasi-state, local and total. In 2001, 19,138,000. And 2011-12, there is a decline. There is a decline. Okay. So one can say this is a bad situation. This is a bad situation. So employ more. Okay. But this conclusion can be contested, because we have to see why there is less employment. We have to see why less. It is less because compared to the work they are doing, they are much costlier. How do we know this? Average government wage as a multiple of per capita GDP. So it is not absolute comparison, it is about comparison per capita GDP, because it is the people who are paying the civil servant. In India, it is 7.2 times. In Asia, 3.0. Eastern Europe, Central Asia 1.3, Latin America 2.5, Middle East 3.4, OECD countries most advanced 1.6, Africa 5.7. So India is 7.2 and Africa 5.7. Overall it's 3.0. So it means that Indian public is paying very, very high. Okay. So they pay much less in advanced countries. They pay much less, but to more people. Whereas in India, they pay to few people very, very high salaries. So, advanced countries are taking more and paying less, whereas India is taking few and paying much more. Because it is paying much more, it is not taking. So, I think this slide is a very important one. Okay, not only in comparison to OECD countries, but even other countries also. Global average is only 3.0. So, if you are asked, are Indian civil servants or government servants paid highly? Okay. So, the unambiguous answer is yes, very high. Okay. Because of cross-national comparisons, not this vis-a-vis versus private sector, but vis-a-vis versus private sector, there are a lot many facilities, and that is the reason why there is so much of competition for government jobs. So, essentially, few people get in, and they are paid high, very high. Why does this happen? See, you can see then the way we think about government employment, it is not like this. Government wants things to be done, and so needs people. So, in a better system, government wants things to be done, and so it needs people. So, government should provide employment, should employ people. But this is not the way we normally think and debate. We think it is the duty of government to employ. And then employment conditions better. Better working conditions demanded. So, government recruits not out of need to do things, but need to provide employment. So governments are expected to provide employment. It is not that they are expected to provide services and because of which it has to employ people. So the difference is, in a private sector in India, it is focused on aim is services, okay, and how to do this? Employ. A private school wants to teach as many students, and so it wants to hire some teachers. But government thinking, or what is government expected to do, is aim itself is employment and their benefits, employees' benefits. Okay. And because they are employed, also do something, also work. So the focus here is employment, whereas in private sector the focus is work. So this is right kind of thinking and this is wrong kind of thinking. So it means we can say government employment in a way is pampered employment, not based on cost benefit analysis of the employer or the government. So it is a privilege. So what in essence is going on in India is political executive plus permanent executive, okay, together are taking resources from society. Okay. Political executive through corruption and many other means, and political executive, permanent executive simply being in the government. So they are taking resources from the society in a disproportionate way. In a disproportionate way. Okay. In ethics questions, civil servant is asked to be compassionate, okay, ethical, and all these things, all positive things. But in reality, his position, his material position itself in relation to the society he is in is actually exploited. So this man who given his position in the structure is exploitative, he is asked to be compassionate. Wow. So this is the conclusion we can make from cross-national comparisons. Okay. And interestingly, what is true of nations? What is true of nations? Okay. Is also true of states. Okay. Just like OECD versus India, you have better run state like Tamil Nadu and much worse state like Bihar. Okay. So India versus OECD is also similar to Bihar versus Tamil Nadu. Let us take that. See, number of state government employees in Tamil Nadu compared to Bihar. Population 7.2, 10.4. Number of state government servants in lakhs 10.4 in Tamil Nadu, only 2.84. So out of population of 10.4 crores, 2.84. 7.2, 10.4 lakhs. So number of government servants per thousand population is 14.4 in Tamil Nadu and 2.7 in Bihar. Okay. Of course, we don't know per capita comparisons, but definitely in Bihar, government job is privileged much more than Tamil Nadu. So fewer people are employed. So what is true of OECD in India is also true of Tamil Nadu and Bihar. So this should give us how to look at Indian bureaucracy in the bigger perspective. Okay. So, we seemed Indian perspective is not people centric rather than employee centric. Employees are given more importance and not people. So this is a wrong approach. This we should change. First of all, how are employees overpaid? Overpaid is not simply in terms of salary alone. It is about security of tenure. Security of tenure. Various welfare measures. Okay, guarantee. So that makes them a privileged a lot. So instead of thinking that employees are there to serve people, employees seem to be there for employees' benefits only. So it's a kind of a patronage sharing. So politician as well as civil servants were equating all levels, A, B, C, D classes, civil servant together are taking disproportionate share from the society. Okay. Of course, politicians through corruption process and civil servants, though if it is completely legal process. Because politicians' salary is much less. So, this is the nature of Indian civil service or Indian bureaucracy or the government employment. So, it means this position should change. How? Maybe less secure and more performance oriented. If you work, be here. Don't work, leave. So, the attitude that the private sector has should come to the government. Okay. In terms of public employment versus private employment, public employment is privileged. But how is overall performance? Overall performance. In the overall performance, private seems to be doing much better. compared to public. We are looking at overall and a broader perspective. Okay. One data we are very much familiar, for example, is this thing, GDP to HDI. GDP to HDI. GDP in India is high, again cross nationally. India is also fast growing nation. Okay, is an emerging power, they say. But what is the HDI level? Is poor. Again, cross nationally. Okay. So what does this mean? GDP contribution is done by mostly private sector. So private sector is doing well, contributing to GDP, and part of GDP, that is tax, goes to government, and it is the government that should do basic services like health, education. And because it is not able to do this properly, HDI is low. Okay. So we are saying GDP cross-nationally is on a higher side and HDI cross-nationally is on a lower side. So who is supposed to convert GDP into HDI? That is bureaucracy, where it is failing. So the conclusion is that under the leadership of the politician, Indian bureaucracy is pampered political sector. We discussed political sector's problems, but under the political sector, government jobs or employment or civil service is a kind of patronage sharing, highly profitable, profit making, highly secure oriented. So in that way, pampered, drawing uneven resources from the society. So government job, you can say, these are part of ruling or rulers. Rulers who are taking disproportionate resources. Think about it.